What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and in this video we are going to take a look at a Horde Dragon game where I was just destined to play mages. Something in the cosmos decided that every random thing that happened in this game was going to push me in the direction of mages, and it winds up being one of the most impressive games of Storybook Brawl that I've ever been able to put together. We're going to start by casting free roll and locking onto this shot because Shard of the Ice Queen plus the 2 evil units gives us a reasonable chance to pick up a pair in this second turn. Unfortunately, it's not going to give us a pair, it's going to give us a mage, and that is just the start of things to come. Madmim, not typically something that you think of as a mage, but Cinderella is great. We're going to lock onto Cindy plus roll the die here, and I love Cindy on Horde Dragon because that allows you to find a tier 3 treasure, and there's some really good tier 3 treasures that are good for mages. You might have heard of some of those. So definitely locking onto this shop here. And hopefully we just won't take too much damage. I mean, maybe we'll be able to get the slay. Unfortunately, we don't, and we'll wind up taking 3 damage here from this combat, but not too big of a deal, really. We'll be able to take the Cindy and then roll the die, and we'll see what that gives us. And that is actually going to give us the best possible unit here. It winds up giving us the Sherwood Sure Shot. So we're pretty strong on this turn 3. Could potentially slay with the Kitty Cut Purse, but then really we've got 4 actual units, with the 2 units both being supported by Madmim. Then the Madmim with the +1/+1 can sometimes do battle. It can trade with a 2/2 or something, and then that 3/2 ranged unit. So feeling pretty strong right now, and then we have the possibility of gaining some additional gold with this Kitty Cut Purse as well. We'll see what our opponents are able to put together. If they've got Humpty Dumptys or anything like that, we might be out of luck. They've got a Golden Chicken upgraded, which is not something that you typically see. We are going to walk away with a win, but unfortunately we do not get the slay on Kitty Cut Purse. But still, 37 health, we are good to go. This turn looks pretty straightforward. I think we're definitely going to grab Queen of Hearts and then probably the Pollywoggle because we already have the Madmim, and cast the Candy Rain. And that's nice because it means now that we're halfway through completing Cinderella. One note, this ordering, my board positioning here is definitely wrong. I should take the Kitty Cut Purse and put it over here into slot 3 and then switch the Madmim. That does 3 things really. One, it encourages the Sherwood Sure Shot to attack earlier because it will be in slot 5 instead of slot 6. And then it also allows the Pollywoggle to attack sooner and still allows the Madmim to support everything that it needs to support, and will potentially just give us a stronger turn and a better turn. I mean, upgrading the Pollywoggle is probably better than just the 1 gold. It does make it slightly more awkward with the Madmim might not die before the Queen of Hearts has to attack. It's not really going to matter as my opponent spawns a Humpty Dumpty off their donkeys, and they had 2 6 health donkeys anyway, so not a huge deal, but definitely a mistake. And there are actually some mistakes that I make in general, and also just in this game. But we're still able to put some pretty fun and pretty powerful stuff together. So I think right here is kind of when I'm realizing it, when I'm rearranging for this, for these prize pigs. Because just seeing a pair of prize pigs means that it's probably what I want to pick up this turn. It is awkward because I will have to frontline a prized pig. And there we go. I'm going to switch the Pollywoggle into the position that it should be in. But yeah, I mean, I'd definitely rather play the 3/6 pigs than the 2/2 Cinderella, and maybe we'll be able to grab a tier 4 treasure off of them. So that's the idea. We're a little bit stronger this combat as well, just by adding the pigs to our board, but unfortunately not slaying with the Pollywoggle last turn does mean that we're a little bit behind. Our Queen of Hearts isn't going to be super impressive, but Queen of Hearts can still do a really good job at this stage of the game, just with 2 units dying. So we'll see how that goes if we are potentially able to slay with the Polywoggle, how that will shake out. Mad Mim dying means that the Polywoggle is going to be a little bit tricky to get going. My opponent slayed with their Mummy. So unfortunately, yeah, not going to get the slay with Polywoggle. And does look like we'll get a win, though. We are still pretty strong here, and we'll be able to walk away with a prized pig as well. So not too shabby. We donate a little bit of gold to my opponent, but we also take a little bit of gold with us. We've got the opportunity to pick up 2 different pairs of units here, and Mad Mim and Polywoggle. While I don't really love Polywoggle on Horde Dragon, maybe I can look for a 3rd copy, so I'm going to drag those Polywoggles back down into my hand and see what else we can find. Not really interested in the Kitty Cut Purse because we've already spent so much time picking up the other units, the Mad Mim and the Polywoggle. I do consider the Princess Peep, but I'm going to keep on rolling and see if we can't find either another Polywoggle, Mad Mim, or Prized Pig, because we have so many doubles of units at this point. And I think a lot of players would consider Treasure Map here, but we've got the double of Mad Mim, and then we also have the Cindy, which we can actually activate right now with this Genie's Wish. And that is going to give us another tier 3 treasure, which could potentially be Merlin's hat, and then we'd be off to the races. It's not, it's going to be Sting, but that is totally fine. And I also totally did not notice, you're going to see I just don't have enough time there to get everything in. Didn't even notice that I gained XP off the Genie's Wish. We got the Wish Upon a Star. So seeing that, I should have moved the Polywoggle over into the Sting slot, so that way that could have slayed on our 4.0 here. I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and then I am going to pick up this Princess Peep just to make use of that with the Mad Mims, and hopefully we can still try to get back into this game a little bit. We're in the 5th place currently, but we're basically, you know, we're in the bottom half of the lobby and not feeling incredibly strong right now. So I do want to pick up just a pickup for strength right here, and I'm eyeing up the Chupacabra just to give us a little bit more stats on the board. It's an evil unit. It can potentially pump up the Mad Mims, and I also don't think there's any way a Prized Pig is making it out of this one, so I am just going to go ahead and play the Cinderella as a 4/4 to battle here. And I do think the Polywoggle has a really decent chance of slaying against Geppetto, especially, but it'll just be a matter of what it attacks into, and unfortunately it gets attacked. So 50-50 there. Actually, not even 50-50. Like, what is that? We were 7 out of 8 to have our Polywoggle actually get the slay there. So a little bit unlucky, but we are still going to walk away with a win against Hermit Druid that cast some XP there. Would have been really nice if the Polywoggle slayed. We could have True Love's Kissed it right there as well, and that would have been really nice, but unfortunately not going to be the case. I will pick up another Queen of Hearts to potentially do some nice stuff with that, and then Mad Mim is going to give Polywoggle a little bit more of a chance to slay, and it's also going to find us our Merlin's hat. So this is all really strong right now. We've got Hat, Ball, Sting, and we are definitely off to a good start with the just all the Mage treasures kind of coming together. Like I said, sometimes you just get lucky, and sometimes the game just gives you all of the mages that you would ever need. I'm also going to notice that it is currently 4.2 because we got that XP earlier. And because of that, I don't really want to slay with my Polywoggle this turn. I would have loved if it slayed last turn, but this turn, I feel like we can hold off and just try to get it to slay next turn with all of the other tools that we have. We can put our ranged unit in the Sting slot, and that'll be pretty strong for us as well. So I'm going to move Polywoggle over to slot 4 and hope that it is unable to slay, and that works out nicely for us as well. And now hopefully we can get it to slay next turn and do some really big stuff this game. Get an upgraded tier 6 unit. That will definitely set us up for success going forward. So, does look like this is going to be a close fight, and we are going to walk away with a pretty close loss and taking 8 damage. But now we are going to try to do some big things with this Polywoggle. Can also take Queen of Hearts. Maybe we'll find a Forking Rod. Not going to be so lucky. No Forking Rod here. Just going to go ahead and skip and then move Polywoggle back over into that Sting spot with the Mad Mim supporting it. That means it's going to be really big. We'll also give it a Potion of Heroism. And at some point, I guess we'll probably want to pick up some mages as well. But for right now, we do find a Grim Soul, which that could certainly be helpful in getting this Polywoggle to activate. It could also land on the Chupacabra, though the Chupacabra will also help the Polywoggle activate, so going to try to make that work. And then I'll throw some more spells on the Polywoggle too, a Burning Palm. Oh, I throw that one on the Chupacabra. Okay, well that's interesting, but hopefully we can just get this Grim Soul to land on the Polywoggle and get a nice start for this one. And we are up against the last place player in the lobby, so potentially the Polywoggle will just be able to slay and we won't take too much damage even if we lose. We got the upgraded Queen of Hearts now too, so hopefully that will all be enough, but we'll see how it all shakes out. We've got the Wizard's Familiar, so we're starting to put some mage things together. My opponent has a bunch of mages here as well, and we've got an upgraded Storm King. So that is a really, really good mage to roll into. After that lag subsides, that is actually just going to be enough to straight up win us this combat. My opponent has one upgraded Wizard's Familiar in the front, and then all of the rest of my opponent's units, you can see, are not big enough for this Storm King. Fortunately, we don't take out the Pied Piper, or maybe fortunately, maybe they can beat up on some of our other opponents here, keep them honest, but upgraded Storm King. Really, really good start to this game. We'll also pick up a Lancelot. That's pretty good too, and I'll throw a Stone Skin on it because maybe that will help it get over the hump. Not really super interested in buying XP at this point. I'd much rather just stay level 5, maybe find Aeons, more Wizards Familiars, Spellweavers. But we don't really need to level up just to find like Storm King. That's the only mage you can find at level 6. But speaking of Spellweaver, we'll go for another shard of the Ice Queen, and that is going to give us a Spellweaver for this combat, or for forever now. So one more mage being added to the arsenal is pretty nice. And I will go ahead and mention now, I think, that I did not realize, just wasn't thinking about it, there's a lot of other stuff going on here, a little bit distracted maybe, that I could use the Mad Mim to activate Lancelot. I think I'm going to realize that about halfway through this combat, and you'll see that I do put in the Grim Soul to potentially try to activate the Lancelot, not realizing that I could have just moved over the Mad Mim. But unfortunately not going to slay with the Lancelot, but we do have this insanely large Storm King, which will be able to do a considerable amount of work, but my opponent does have Juliet hiding back in there with Romeo, so they are going to be able to take out my Storm King, and I think this one, winds up being a tie, which is totally fine. I will take a tie. We also get a Kidnap, so we get to steal one of their units. It's just going to be a crafty. Not super exciting. What we really need to do right now is find some more mages. Oh, this is when I realized that Lancelot can activate with the Mad Mim, because I put it in front of the Mad Mim, and then I'm like, oh wait, that's pretty close. Oh yeah, I can just throw it in the Sting slot. So that's me moving the Mad Mim over to activate the Lancelot there, and now we just gotta find a few more mages, but we are off to a really, really good start here with putting together a mage board now that we've picked up the Aeon. We're going to wind up selling off this crafty and seeing what else we can find this turn. Going to find a Merlin's Test and a lucky coin. the luck continues, and then we'll Mix-a-Wizzle, probably just the sleeping princess, will wake it up and then transform it over into a friendly spirit. So all of that seems pretty sweet. We'll finish the turn off with a poison apple. Then I'll throw Lancelot over into the Sting slot, so that'll get us a tier 6 treasure, and then I will throw some ranged units in the back to potentially have the friendly spirit work with those. And we're doing good. We've got Hat Ball plus an Aeon, plus we're going to have a tier 6 treasure online. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mages plus a Lancelot now active, so we've got a nice selection of units. We are going to get this sleigh with Aeon as well. So yeah, this is a little bit what I was talking about. The game just giving us all mages. The Shard of the Ice Queen gave us this Mad Mim, which we're actually still playing and making good use of now that we've got the Aeon. And the luck's going to continue. We're going to get 9th Book of Merlin there. Almost talked over that part. Yeah, that's a pretty big moment as well. So now we definitely want to play all the mages that we can. I was so overwhelmed by everything that was happening that I rolled right past the Witch's Brew in the previous shop. But I do think that I want to grab Hercules because we're Horde Dragon. We grab a tier 7 treasure off of that. I'll throw Hercules in the Sting, or not the Sting spot, but the in front of the Sporko, because that will allow it to activate in 4 hits. So that is always good. And should probably just go for this blessing. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Should probably have gone for the Blessing of Athena there as the last spell of the turn, but just wind up selling something and rolling into a fog. I figure maybe we could have found like another spell or something. We do have slightly cheaper spells this turn because we have the Aeon hit. And maybe I was thinking, okay, maybe if we cast enough spells, I'll be able to put in both of these Aeons. And obviously every spell that you cast is giving a bunch of stats across the board. So it does mean a lot, but could have just saved my gold for the next turn. But no big deal. We will be, could have tried to find like a kidnap or something a little bit more exciting on the last turn. Would have allowed us to steal this monster book. But we are going to be A-okay here against the Ghost. We will get the Aeon Slay. Unfortunately, the Mad Mim will get taken out by that mummy. So this Hercules is down to just hitting for 20. Hopefully it can get attacked into again, but that is sadly not going to happen. So Hercules still needs 4 more hits to come online. Probably at this point just going to move it over into slot 3, though I'm not going to make the same mistake that I did in yesterday's video. I'm actually going to Knighthood this Hercules here. It's going to make it a 40-40. It'll connect in 2 hits, and that will allow us to grab a tier 7 treasure probably next turn. It's probably early enough that we are able to grab that tier 7 treasure next turn at this point. I'll grab a Smite as well, and then we are off to the races. That's going to be the end of the turn. I don't know if I should put in Aeon or Wizard's Familiar here. Honestly, especially against Geppetto, it should be Aeon, because that could give us a just an additional Slay. And I'm actually going to cut the Mad Mim entirely because we're up against Geppetto, and I'm thinking maybe they've got some tokens or some other things that are just going to be easier to slay. And does look like that's going to be the case. We are going to get pretty lucky there and get our first Slay, and then we actually get our second Slay too. So our spells cost 4 less this turn, and let's see, I think we are going to be lucky enough with no ranged units on my opponent's side of the field and all of these sheep coming from Princess Peep. We should be able to get the treasure from Hercules, so tier 7 treasure in the pipeline. Our spells cost 4 less because we've got the 2 Aeon triggers this turn, so that's really important. And we find Black Prism, so I'm thinking, yeah, I just slayed with both of these Aeons. We'll potentially upgrade this Aeon soon. I think we can toss the Merlin's hat and still be able to get away with doing some powerful stuff. Oh, I guess we didn't slay with both Aeons. We slayed with just the second one. Interesting. Okay, well, that's fine. I guess I wasn't paying close enough attention, but now we potentially get to upgrade Aeon if we want to. That's pretty sweet. And then we can go for a True Love's Kiss like on Lancelot. Put some nice stuff together. I don't think I want to replace the ball or the prism or anything. Oh wait, no. We don't want to cast this True Love's Kiss because that will True Love's Kiss all of our units. Sorry. We just picked up Black Prism. A lot going on in this game, so definitely easy to get distracted. Could consider picking up another Aeon, but I'm just going to keep on rolling. Should have picked up that Storm King though. That was just an accident, and we'll cast this Earthquake to end the turn. Definitely a little bit overwhelmed, not too much time on the clock. Once you are considering different like tier 7 treasures and their potential implications and things, but does look like Aeon will definitely be getting the slay on this one, so our spells will be 2 cheaper this turn, and we still have this absolutely massive Storm King as well. So we should be walking out of this one with a kill onto Merlin, and that's going to be pretty nice. And potentially only one more fight left in this game. No, okay, we've still got 2 more opponents, so we've still got some more spells to cast. That is always fun. We'll go for 2 Potion of Heroisms to start things off. We can Queen's Grace on everything. That's a little bit of fun as well. And do potentially still want to find one more unit to put on the board. Probably don't want to triple my Stormweavers. I probably just want to find like any other mage to be able to add to this. Could take a Friendly Spirit as well. I think I go for it because like if we can put any amount of stats onto this thing, that will be pretty good for us going forward. Like we just gave it +7/+7 there. And under that same logic, I'm thinking that I want to purchase Apple Tree here as well. We're about to cast a Drink Me potion, and we actually find a second Flourish, so we definitely wind up making our money off of that one, and we get to do some nice stuff here. I don't really want to go for Croc because we have just too much stats on the current board scaling by casting all of these spells. I typically like Croc, Prism, if you don't also have the Crystal Ball and all of that other stuff that comes with it, but I think that that would definitely be a downgrade on the current board if we put everything into Crocs at the current time. Because yeah, like some things could just go wrong here, whereas like with this, there's 0% that we lose this combat. We're just so much more powerful than all of my opponents, casting so many spells here. Spellweavers almost in the 400s. Will probably be in the 400s by the end of the turn. The 4 Glory that we cast gives us an additional Storm King. So there you go. That is our final unit to add to the board. And now we're going to do some even crazier stuff. So Evil Twin would give us a copy of each one of our units, including 2 additional Storm Kings. So that's really strong. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sell everything just to make sure that we've got the space to cast both of these Evil Twins, or just to cast this Evil Twin. I'm going to sell off my tree and then just cast a few more spells, then sell off the Friendly Spirit because I don't need that, and I know I'm going to cast this Knighthood as well, so let's sell one more unit, and I should cast the Knighthood first, kind of make a little bit of a mistake here because my units wind up combining, and then I'm going to have to pick up some tier 4 and a tier 7 treasure. We can grab Mirror, which is great, alongside the other thing that basically gives us an Exodia comp alongside the 9th Book of Merlin, and now I go for the Knighthood. It definitely would have been better if we Knighthooded first. That would have given us 2 upgraded Spellweavers, and then we would have made 2 more, along with 2 more Storm Kings, and then we would have had to cut some stuff. But we'll go for the Knighthood now, and we toss the Crystal Ball, so that is going to be the end of the turn. Could lock onto the Pigomorph, that's fine. We're going to be casting a ton of spells this turn anyways, and potentially have another tier 7 treasure to go with Hercules, but The important thing is that when these Aeons die, they are going to cast a spell, and then they're going to resummon themselves to cast even more spells. Second one doesn't get to slay, but it is just going to mean a ton of spells across the board here. And if somehow my opponent could battle through these Storm Kings, which you can tell they're not going to be able to, those would just resummon themselves and cast even more spells too, and the Spell Weavers in the back are growing this whole time. So yeah, this one's definitely going to be a win. Really sweet game. These are some of the biggest Storm Kings that I've ever been able to put together. A little bit of slobby play, but that's because there was just so much happening in this game. There was so much to keep track of. The end game got really hectic, and I had to replace both the hat and the ball, which you always want to just double check everything before you go ahead and pull the trigger. But we were able to put together something really powerful in the end. And yeah, almost talked over the fact too that we got that random extra Storm King from the For Glory. Just in the middle of all of the other madness that was going on there, in addition to the Polywoggles giving us this Storm King. I didn't buy a single Storm King this whole game. I rolled past the one by accident, and then this is what we had. You know what? Did I buy a Spellweaver? I did. I bought one Spellweaver, but the other Spellweaver was sharded into. All of these Spellweavers were from the, well, actually it was from the Knighthood, right? But yeah, just absolutely insane stuff there when something just says, you know what, this is going to be an insane Mage game. You just say thank you. So that is going to be it, guys, and thank you very much for watching. That's going to be it for me for this one. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.